Do you suffer from any of the following? Nausea, confusion, excessive perspiration, sleepless nights, inconsistent grading, or outdated assessment methods? If you do, you may suffer from a disease known as CAG fatigue. Until now, victims of CAG fatigue were sentenced to a life of hopelessness and despair. But finally, there is help. The brilliant minds of Bay District Schools are proud to introduce the new Assessment, Principles, and Practices, or APP. APP was designed to combat the symptoms of CAG fatigue and provide relief to the employees, students, and parents of Bay District Schools. Okay, so CAG fatigue may not be real, but the need for a CAG replacement is very real. The original CAG manual was dated and overwhelming, so a dedicated team of district personnel, school administrators, and teachers came together to look at best practices in grading and assessment and incorporated them into a clear and concise document. Our goal was to create a tool that will embrace the current research in the field of education and provide district-wide consistency in grading and assessment. The new Assessment, Principles, and Practices document is the result of our efforts. And now, here are some other members of the APP team to tell you more.
The Assessment, Principles, and Practice document debuted at the Superintendent Summit on June 14, 2016, with a "Yeah, baby" intro to all administrators. The document has been condensed from the CAG manual of 56 plus pages to under 20 pages. The APP team has labored over producing a clear and concise document so the information is clear to all stakeholders. To ensure this transparency, all administrators will have participated in professional development during this summer. Included in the administrative PD will be a lesson plan created by the teacher members of the APP team to instruct all teachers during preschool in service. The APP team, along with math and literacy coaches and teacher liaisons, will continue to work during the 16-17 school year to accomplish the task of grade weighting, minimal grading, struggling learners, and reporting practices. Principal breakout sessions will continue to assist in guiding the team towards a more complete document. This being said, the conversations about feedback, assessment, grading, and reporting should never end as we continue to make the instructional shifts needed to fully implement the Florida standards.
Paul Black and Dylan Williams' meta-analysis research review of 580 articles and books found that learning gains triggered by formative assessments are amongst the largest ever reported. The achievement gains by students whose teachers rely on formative assessments ranged from 15 to 25 percentile points. This kind of score gain, if applied to performance on international assessments, would move the United States rank from the middle of the pack of 42 nations tested to the top 5. Formative assessments are designed to provide direction for improvement, make adjustments to instruction, monitor student learning towards standards, and provide specific feedback to students. Formative assessments provide practice without penalty. Because we are providing students practice without penalty, formative assessments can be no more than 5% of a student's grade. Summative assessments are designed to determine student achievement at the end of a unit, course, term, or year, providing teachers with information for making final judgments about student mastery. To use the analogy of actors in a stage production, formative assessments are like a dress rehearsal. The summative assessment is the actual performance seen by the public. So although dress rehearsal is not perfect, the only thing that counts is the final performance. Many of us have had students who have shown limited knowledge of standards on a summative assessment. This is where reteaching and reassessments are both important. Reassessments will be provided for summative assessments or parts of summative assessment if the summative assessment is divided up by standard. The intent of a reassessment is not for students to get an A. The intent of a reassessment is to provide students an additional opportunity to show mastery of standards. Prior to reassessments, a remediation or reteaching opportunity will be provided. The student is required to show appropriate evidence of additional learning as determined by the teacher. It is important to note that when given a reassessment, the reassessment should not be a copy of the original assessment.
Are students being graded on such things as attendance, participation, students' attitude? Are points being taken off because their name was not in the correct place, or the work was done in the wrong color ink? Are points being given for extra credit, or for a student bringing in canned goods for a food drive? The answer is yes. In the past, these things have been part of a student's grade. These are considered behaviors, and behaviors don't show what a student has learned or mastered. Unless the course standard states these topics are to be graded, they should not weigh in on a student's grades. Students should be graded on the standards and how they have mastered those standards in the classroom. What does a 0 mean in a gradebook? Does it tell a student, parent, or guardian nothing was done? Is it a placeholder until the assessment is completed? Or does it show that the student shows no mastery? PLCs need to work together to answer these questions, and their grading needs to be consistent and meaningful to all. Teachers and administrators have worked together to create the APPS manual and relieve your CAG fatigue. We have written this manual with the hopes it will simplify CAG and clarify the myths that went along with CAG. Please welcome Assessments, Principles, and Practice, or APP for short. Remember, teachers make all jobs possible.